Good evening and welcome to Have I Got News For You? And if you're watching this on UK Gold in 10 years' time, my name's Angus Deaton and I used to present the show before Alan Titchmarsh took over. In the news while we've been away, after insisting she'll be voting Labour, a Henley pensioner is powerless as Michael Heseltine nails her contact lenses to the door. In Tel Aviv, Boris Yeltsin shows his usual tact and diplomacy at the unveiling of Yitzhak Rabin's memorial statue. And in London, Battersea Dogs Home opens a new private wing for dogs on Bupa. On Ian Hislop's team tonight, a comedian who rose to fame on the BBC show Have I Got News For You before leaving Have I Got News For You to pursue his own projects, one of which evidently is to appear as a guest on Have I Got News For You, Paul Merton. And joining our guest captain, Eddie Izzard, is not the MP who was advertised in the papers, as David Ashby thought it might be inadvisable to be seen sharing a panel with another man. Instead, it's someone who, as a young man, decided he wanted to walk the corridors of power, but then changed his mind and joined the Liberal Party, MP Charles Kennedy. So let's push off, as it were, with our opening film round. 4 bits of recent history. Ian and Paul, tuck in.
This is John Gummer feeding burgers to his daughter about 5 years ago. That's what she looks like now. That's what he looks like now. Mad cow disease.
Is sort of correct, yes. What about it?
A lot of cows have got it. There's cows playing trumpets all over the country and cows sort of going in for stars in their eyes and all that kind of thing.
We know more. We know the guy that in the beard is.
Oh, who is he?
Do.
Yeah.
It's Herr Fischler.
First name?
Stephen.
Herr.
Franz.
Is the right answer, yes, very good.
He admitted this week that he eats British beef and loves it, and so does his wife Heidi. And he can't see what all the fuss is about. And the fuss is about the European Commissioner who banned beef into Europe, called Franz Fischler.
But the Conservatives would like you to believe it was Neil Kinnock, but that's a different story.
Yes,
and
indeed.
what do the Lib Dems think, then?
Considering our position,
maybe,
actually.
Any idea of other byproducts other than beef that you get?
Wine gums.
Eggs. Sausages. Sugar. Peanut butter.
Cows
Gorilla
don't
juice.
lay eggs. Gorilla juice.
I'm just guessing.
Yes. It's gelatine and tallow with the two.
Wine gums.
Oh.
It's gelatine in wine gums.
Correct. Well done.
And tallow in gorilla juice.
Yeah.
No.
What is tallow then?
Tallow, you find it in candles.
Oh, right, so you don't eat that.
No, steer away from all those candles.
Have cows been eating candles then? That's a bit like saying don't eat sort of carpet, isn't it?
Stay off the carpet and candles. Eddie and Charles, one for the road for you two.
Newbury. Scene of the bypass.
Yep, Newbury bypass, a lot of hot blood over that, which way it should go, whether it should be there. And the cow was 2 people dressed up as a cow and walked in a door.
I thought this was a couple who was going to get divorced, but they decided to stay together for the sake of the cow.
Can you remember any of the celebrity supporters that have come out?
Bill Mooney.
I'm sorry, I thought you just said Bill Mooney.
Johnny Morris. Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, thank you, Johnny Morris. Yes, we remember him. This could take some time if we have signature tunes for every person we mention. And any idea how much all this cost?
£85.
Well, it was 6 million, but I'll give it to you.
Right.
6 million spent so far.
I just told you that, Eddie, but thank you for...
No, didn't you hear the tone going up at the end? 6 million spent so far? That's what I really meant.
Oh, right, so it was a question.
Yeah.
Why, yes.
Cars like blood out of a stone.
Amongst those arrested for trespassing were 2 protesters dressed as a pantomime cow. After pleading not guilty, they were simply bound over to keep the peace for 14 days and then incinerated. Ian and Paul, a little light reading for you.
Oh, that's Justice Scott with his report. That's some men. Oh, that's William Waldegrave. That's what he says his name is. Maybe lying again. That's Sir Nicholas Lisle, the other one. Good name for him. They produced the Scott Report, and the Conservatives had weeks to look at it and get their answers ready. And Robin Cook had about 30 seconds. And being Robin Cook, he flicked through it, mastered it, came into the Commons and said, "You're all lying." And the Conservatives said, "No, we're not." And they had a vote. And the government managed to vote that it wasn't corrupt and lying. But only by one vote.
I know who those three guys were.
Are you trying to get extra points then?
Yeah.
Because that's normally when I dock people points, is when they try and get extra ones. But
So if you try and get extra points, you take away points.
that's generally the
So
idea.
if I just sit here like this, I've won.
That's what Paul does most weeks.
Yes. It worked.
See, I don't
Okay.
care if my team loses tonight. I'm more than happy.
Charles Kennedy's line.
It is.
Well, the good thing of being in this programme is at least I can come second.
You can't really lose your deposit though, can you? Well,
Depends how nervous he gets.
It is the Scott Report on the government's role in the illegal export of arms to Iraq. In the days before the crucial debate, John Major was clearly concerned by the serious implications of the report.
Have you read the Scott Report yet?
Have you read it then? Have you got a copy?
I've read a précis.
No, he hasn't read it. And finally, Eddie and Charles, the end of an era for you.
Fergie and Andrew.
Kissing couple.
No. And she learnt the news while skiing.
That's right. Downhill all
She was
the
on
way.
holiday, strangely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny that. I wonder how she tells the difference. I mean, they're known as what are the Duke and Duchess of what?
Of York.
York. Is it York? But they're actually also the Earl and Countess of Inverness, and not many people know that.
No, and you heard it here probably second or third.
But it also rhymes. Countess of Inverness.
Countess of Inverness.
It's an old nursery rhyme, isn't it? The Duchess of York had 10,000 men. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down.
Yes.
And when they were only halfway up, she was more than happy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is the sad news of the first royal divorce for over a week. Following Marina Ogilvy last week, the famously freckled Duchess most recently appeared on the cover of Hello magazine looking unexpectedly white. Apparently the picture was taken just after she'd opened her latest access bill. Fergie's latest fling has been with the Austrian Thomas Muster, an unseeded tennis player. At least he was by the time she finished with him. It was also reported this week that Muster was thinking of entering Queen's. Which treacherous thoughts conspire to bring about the end of this opening round, and the scores are considerably more balanced than Fergie's accounts, being as they are 4-all. Before the horrors of round two, we have to force feed our panel the infected offal that is our caption competition. Ian and Paul, this is yours. Eddie and Charles get this. And so to the world of muckraking as we descend into the hellhole of tabloid sleaze. Eddie and Charles, dangers of the hokey cokey.
And it's what's this about?
That's the question, yes.
Isn't this about midwives shouldn't do the hokey cokey while delivering babies? Put the left leg in, left leg out. Tell you all about.
Some sort of court case thing.
Some
Yes,
sort of
it's
court
do the
cases.
holiday thing, wasn't it? People left their children in the care of somebody on holiday,
Of a hokey
and they made
cokey
the
maniac.
children do the hokey cokey. They made the kids do the hokey cokey, and then the kids got sort of injured
Ill.
in the hokey
They were
cokey.
death threats.
And then the parents went to court.
So it was toddlers in hokey cokey shock sort of story.
Yes, well, I probably will give you one for that. It's the court case that's been brought this week against Thompson Holidays after a 9-year-old injured himself whilst doing the hokey cokey. The hokey cokey song was allegedly penned at the end of World War II by American Larry Laprise, who set down the words, "You put your left arm in, your left arm out, in, out, shake it all about." And no one knows where he got the idea from, but the fact that he was a country vet by profession might have something to do with it.
A bit like the midwife gag.
Yeah, not dissimilar. Only with the laugh on that, obviously put on my bit. The author of the song, in fact, died this week. Apparently it was a very moving funeral, although many felt the tribute by the coffin bearers was somewhat ill-judged. Ian and Paul, explain this away. Get your eyes off my thighs.
You want to have a go at this?
Yeah, I think might be one I could get right.
Yeah. Princess Di, she's got she's got
Nothing changes.
She's got spudulite
No,
on the
you
back
do
of her
it. I
legs.
insist.
She's got spudulite. No, not across the gags, please.
No.
She's got spudulite. Are you still here? She's got spudulite on the back
Unlike
of her
you
thighs.
next week, thank God.
Absolutely. She's got chives and onion on the chives. What a chives? What are you talking about? What a chives, you bloody maniac. She's got chives and onion on one leg and she's got mixed salad on the other. And people saying, you know, you've got salad on the back of your thighs. You said, I've just sat on a stool. Give them the points.
Hold on a sec. The Princess Diana thing, this is on every newspaper. The hokey cokey thing, a lot more obscure. They've done 94 episodes between them.
Easy stuff.
We've done about 2.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make it easy for us.
No, you get very easy questions later on, though.
Oh, right, okay.
I promise.
Well, Ian
What
knows
is
the
your
answer.
name?
Keith.
Yes.
Are those your own teeth? Will you answer the question?
The son said you've got a great lump on your thighs, and she said that's no way to talk about Will Carling.
Everyone a winner.
Yes.
Thank you and good night. And now a song.
Any other celebrities who famously suffer from cellulite problems?
Angus Deaton.
Oh,
Sadly
Flipper.
not, no. Flipper.
Clogged up his spout.
Could be true, but it's not the one I've got written down here.
Cilla Black's got it on her face. They've got to scrape her every time she goes on telly. Or is it Polyfiller? I can't remember. You know, she's a friend of yours, isn't she?
Now that is offensive.
That is. Cellulite evidently leads to the sudden appearance of large dimples in the upper thigh region, a problem that Diana thought she put behind her when she split up with Will Carling.
There it is.
There's the gag. There's the joke.
That's the joke again. Nice.
Funnily enough, you won't put the lack of laugh on yours, I don't think.
No, sadly not. According to
Difficult to put a lack of laugh on something if it's because it's by the fact that it's lack is not there.
It's a silence.
It's a silence.
Technical term.
Technical term. A lot of comics know about silence. I know all about it.
Could have fooled me.
What does that mean? Nothing. You just said something on the top of your head is meaningless.
Yeah.
Could you pass the water? It's all timing, meaningless. Can you pass the water? Got to laugh. Just timing. It's timing.
According to an expert in the people, if such a thing exists, the best way for women like Diana to deal with cellulite is to eat less and take more exercise. Perhaps not the best advice to give to a bulimic fitness freak. Which Royal Flab brings us firmly to the end of this exercise, and the situation is that Eddie and Charles have a barely visible 5, whilst Ian and Paul have an almost obese 7.
how'd they get 7?
They got more points than you did. And so to what we like to consider our third round, in which we out a selection of odd ones. Eddie, your collection of youth icons is Pamela Anderson,
Plus breasts.
Liam Gallagher, Tiggy Leg Burke, and John Humphreys.
Well, do they all eat spinach or something? They've all taken a vast amount of drugs, except for one of them.
Would you like to nominate one so that the other 3 lawyers can get in touch?
Liam Gallagher. Those Oasis boys clearly have never taken anything.
No, that's true.
Their mum said so. They said they'd never stolen a thing.
Well, Ian's the closest so far.
They've all got mothers.
They all
had mothers at one point, and...
Was mothers the clue, or was it rewriting Beatles songs?
It was nicking stuff.
Nicking stuff?
They've all nicked stuff
Right.
with their mothers, but their mother said, no, it's okay. And...
Well, she's stolen those two things from somewhere.
Is Pamela Anderson the only one whose dress has staged a fight between Duncan Goodhue and his brother?
I'll give one to Ian. I think it's that all of them have recently been burgled, except for Liam Gallagher of Oasis.
Who claimed to burgle people?
John Humphreys recently woke up to find out that there was a burglar in his bedroom and asked him what the bloody hell he was doing there. The burglar later complained to Radio 4 about the aggressive style of questioning.
Can I just say that I didn't have a clue that that was the answer, and I'm quite happy about it.
Charles,
I'm
you're
beginning
old.
to think we might not even manage to come second, but never mind.
And Charles, your old fogies are
Right.
Justice Scott, Sir George Young, Jeremy Paxman, and John Snow.
Bicycles, it must be bicycles. George Young is the Transport Secretary. He's called the Bicycling Baronet. You know that?
Is he called the what?
Scott, Bicycling Baronet.
Why don't they call him the Cycling Count?
Mr. Justice Scott rides a bicycle. Two of them go to work on a bike, which means one of the other two must go to work on a bike. So is it Paxman or Snow? I've never seen either of them on a bike.
I have no idea. I don't know who I am, or why Tutankhamun couldn't come in and be team captain. Is beyond me. But anyway, I think it's Jeremy Paxman.
Do you? All right,
or the other guy.
I'll go for Jon Snow then.
Interestingly, neither.
They've all had bikes stolen by Pamela Anderson.
Who you can see in silhouette behind Jeremy Paxman.
The answer is that all of them travel to work on a bicycle, apart from Transport Minister Sir George Young, who he's been told by party advisors to give it up.
Really?
Yes.
The thing was right, it was just the wrong person.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because the way you moved that, it seemed like the whole thing was just so stupid, what we were saying. But we were really almost there.
Yeah. You were
Really,
You were
almost.
so close. It was
Given another
virtually
94
interesting.
episodes of this, we really could have won.
You could have.
But actually, you contributed nothing to that last one. That was all me.
Yeah, but it's your go.
Well,
You're doing fine. I'm very proud.
Paul, your ingredients for a good night out are a bottle of beer, a football,
Yeah.
a group of Ford workers, and a sheepdog.
Bottle of beer. I mean, that gives it away really, because it was the Evening Standard, I think last week, who published a picture of John Prescott, and they had a bottle of beer in front of me, which they airbrushed out the photograph, and then there was like another beer bottle that looked like it might have been the top of a champagne bottle or something. So they airbrushed one bottle of beer out and said they called him a champagne socialist, and he complained about that. So that's something that's been airbrushed out of a photograph. The football is airbrushed out of spot the ball competitions to give it an element of skill. The Ford workers there, this was a photograph that was taken of the various people that worked for them, and then when they used it in a campaign that said something like Ford are wonderful, they airbrushed all the black guys out of the picture and replaced them with, white guys, and there was a big fuss about that. And the sheepdog, presumably there's some pun about it's going into Crufts and you brush it coat with an airbrush or something like that. So the dog's the odd one out.
Is almost the right answer, but not quite.
They've all been stolen by Pamela Anderson. Except one of them.
And which one?
I don't care.
I'm going to give you one because you got all the information right.
Yeah.
But the answer is that they've all been removed from photographs, apart from the Ford workers, or at least the black contingent, who were not so much removed from this advertising poster as replaced by white versions of themselves. Critics said that the poster should have reflected the true situation on the factory floor and replaced both sets of workers with robots. The football is one removed from a much-loved Spot the Ball competition of the sort which run in newspapers all round the country, such as the Welsh paper The Western Mail, which not long ago kindly offered £77,000 as a prize if you could spot the ball in this photograph. The dog was removed for the purposes of a Spot the Sheepdog competition run by the Westmorland Gazette.
That's brilliant.
Instead of marking the centre of a football, you had to guess where the sheepdog's nose was. The answer, as always, was sniffing the bottom of another sheepdog. And finally, in this round, Ian, your natural companions are Emma Nicholson, Death, Nigel Short, and the computer Deep Blue.
Well, it looks like a defection question, because Emma Nicholson went from being a Tory to being a Lib Dem. But that isn't the answer.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a chess question.
Oh, right. I was just interested when you're going to get to Death, see who he defected from, which party.
Defected from life.
Nigel Short is a British chess master. Death played chess in that film, The Seventh Seal, Bergman film. Deep Blue is a computer that plays chess. So they all play chess apart from Emma Nicholson, who plays badminton for Shropshire.
Which is one of the least interesting pieces of information we've ever had on this programme. I'll probably tell you, because I don't think you're going to get it. It's that all of them have played chess against world champion Garry Kasparov, with the obvious exception of Death, which was portrayed, as you said, playing chess in Ingmar Bergman's wacky knockabout romp, The Seventh Seal. Emma Nicholson was, in fact, one of the 11 MPs at the House of Commons to play Garry Kasparov, and by all accounts did very well. True to form, she waited till Kasparov had taken nearly all her pieces and then simply swapped sides. All of which are fun and games bring us bang to the end of this rubber, and the current state of play is that Eddie and Charles are feeling a little behind with 6, whilst Ian and Paul are being slightly forward with 10. And so, with heaving stomach, we bid a lukewarm welcome to our final Missing Words round, the customary selection of half-baked headlines, intermixed with one or two, or less, from this week's guest publication, the award-winning Patchwork and Quilting. So, the law court sentences Spider to what?
Death.
Death is the right answer. Very good.
Oh, really?
We abolished the death penalty.
Not for spiders.
No spiders.
No.
Number of spiders on death row, you know.
Is one.
They're just crawling.
Do you know how they kill them?
It's a humane
With a big
execution.
gun.
With a shoe.
Guy goes around with a gun in a room and they close the doors and there are no windows and he just goes, "Go on, you bastard." The spider's running around. If the spider gets the gun, he can shoot that guy and then go and live in the Bahamas.
But it so rarely happens, doesn't it?
Very rare. Due to the problems of which leg to pull the trigger with.
Next, Pope to choose what? New what?
Is it potatoes?
Pope to choose new pope.
No.
Pope to choose new ironing board, new fish slice, new set of badminton rackets, new
New
ear roll.
Labour. New Labour. Pope votes Labour.
Pope was closest, actually. New Archbishop is, in fact, the right Archbishop of Liverpool. So obviously... Sorry if we're boring you with the week's news.
Well, you are.
Eddie.
You
I'm
are.
sorry.
You
Why
know,
is that news?
I wish had it been a fish
Why is that
slice,
news?
but-
Pope chooses Archbishop.
It was a big headline. New Archbishop. Oh.
It was next to the Hope.
How different, say journalists. Unusual move by Pope to choose new Archbishop instead of just saying, "Well, you work it out." Choose yourself, mate.
Yeah. So it's,
Do you remember that headline? It's true. It was when you had the Pope before this one, who was elected and then lasted 6 weeks and died. And I think it was the Express that had the headline "Pope dies again." It's true.
next. A golden what? The story of a quilt?
Golden Retriever turned into a quilt.
Yeah.
No.
Golden Eye, new Bond film about a quilt. Wants to take over the world.
Starring-
So, Mr. Bond, that's the quilt.
Yeah. It's doing impressions of quilts now. Once you break that barrier, you'll get pillows, sheets, percolators, it'll do anything.
I'll do the lot.
Yeah.
The answer is golden moments. The story of a quilt, gold moments being the name of a quilt.
Oh, I see.
Designed by June Barnes. Next, Archer in line for what job?
Bottomley's job. According to a newspaper which was rung up by a friend of Jeffrey Archer saying, Jeffrey's in line for this job and he's going to be awfully good at it.
Oh, that was an impersonation of Jeffrey Archer, I think.
No, that was a disguised Jeffrey Archer voice.
No, I think he was still doing a quilt there.
Oh, right. So, Mr. Bond.
Yes. So, Mr. Bond, we meet at last. I suppose you're wondering what my tog rating is. I am warm in the winter, but cool in the summer. Let's see how you like that.
Obviously, Bottomley couldn't fit into that small space.
No, heritage.
Ginny is the right answer. I'll give you one for that. Next, frog hunters told to what?
Piss off. Buy frogs.
Hop off.
Told to grow up.
Is it a tabloid?
Hop off, that sounds like another Bond spy.
He throws frogs at people.
Yeah. Let us see what you are like with the toes. I have a tadpole in my pocket.
Thank you. Hang up.
It's very modest of you.
Yeah. 3 months' time, it'll leap over a wall, though.
Hang up their jam jars was. And finally, what as effective as the pill?
Bolton Wanderers.
Oh, cling film.
right.
Cling film.
King film.
New male contraceptive.
Certainly not cling film, but it's a lovely image to bear in mind. Thank you. New male contraceptive is the right answer. Well done.
Yeah.
Which is a painful. Which perfect examples of blind panic mark an end to this evening's frenzy. And the shocking truth is that Eddie and Charles are this week's Dog's Bodies with 7, whilst this week's Dog's Bollocks are Ian and Paul with 13. But before we finally discharge our guests, it's time to regurgitate our caption competition. So what did you think of for this, Eddie and Charles?
Onwards and upwards. Was,
I thought it was the bloke in the middle saying, "Hello, Mr. Ashby and your charming friend."
Thank you. Ian and Paul, this was yours.
Reservoir full, says chairman of Yorkshire Water.
Tintin, you've gone old.
Is the man saying to the dog, look, don't crap anymore, the bag's full up already?
On which confusing note we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Paul Merton, Eddie Izzard and Charles Kennedy. And I leave you with news that the Archbishop of Canterbury has expressed dismay that even for those within the church, the Easter break is losing its religious significance. Good news for the Labour Party as image makers at last find a way to control Tony Blair's smile. And in London, a royal equerry's career is ruined when he's accidentally caught thinking, nice arse. Good night.
And there's more from Angus and the team at the same time next week, here on BBC Two.